Pod Me If You Can is brought to you by The Glove by Australian author David Farrell. Head to facebook.com/theglovebook for more information.
Welcome to Pod Me If You Can, I'm David Farrell. Today on the show, the film is In the Soup from 1992. The film stars Steve Buscemi, Sam Rockwell, and Jennifer Beals.
Pod Me If You Can, movie reviews.
Adolfo Rollo, played by Steve Buscemi, wants to be a filmmaker, but living in New York has made him broke. He's also fallen for his neighbor, Angelica, played by Jennifer Beals. When he becomes desperate, he sells his script, Unconditional Surrender, a 500-page monster, and suddenly has a backer and a friend ready to give him $250,000 to make his dream movie. This film is good, and it won the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance, and it beat Reservoir Dogs, which Quentin Tarantino was there for, which also stars Steve Buscemi. It's directed by Alexander Rockwell, who's no relation to Sam Rockwell, and he was actually married to Jennifer Beals at the time of filming. Jennifer Beals is quoted as saying the film had a real sense of fun about it, and that there's a scene where it's snowing and they didn't have any plan, they just ran out and started filming because it looked good. And it shows they're having a great time in that scene. And if that was the sense of creation and the spirit in which this film was made, that's even better, because it sounds like they made a good film and really enjoyed doing it. This led to Alexander Rockwell shooting 1/4 of the film 4 rooms with Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, and Allison Anders. So this feels like a real launching pad for that kind of independent cinema era. So the film is all in black and white, and that again leans into that independent cinema kind of vibe. The film also features heavy voiceover from Steve Buscemi, and you can either like or hate that. Sometimes it's quite obvious and really drives the plot forward. It is kind of that voice of God way of explaining things and exposition, and that does weaken it in some parts, but overall, because you want to get to love this character, I think it works here. In the Soup refers to being in business together, and the actor Seymour Cassel really steals the show here. He buys the script for $1,000, and then he offers to finance the film for $250,000. There's this great scene where the film is just too much to handle. They get to page 4 of him explaining the 500-page script, and the expression on Seymour Cassel's face is hilarious. He asks him, can't he just do a simple love story? Now the funny thing here is that it's about filmmaking, but they really slip into some scams. Everybody is kind of a shady character in this film. He meets the shady brother and gets dropped off a long way from home after he picks up a gun. They steal an $80,000 car to break it down for parts and buy a bunch of film. And they break into houses together. It's all very dodgy. And as he says in voiceover, we were bouncing from one scam to the next. The great thing about this film is there are lots and lots of realized characters. They have small parts, but they seem very authentic to this atmosphere. Everyone is very watchable as well, and at the 1 hour mark, they make Steve Buscemi look somehow heroic with a camera in his hand. I was really pleased for the black and white because it felt like the director found all these really interesting walls, and the film has a texture that might not have been there in colour. They seem to fill each scene with feathers or graffiti or something that just makes the world feel more real. It is an independent film, so the strength here is the dialogue. It becomes very talky, and if that's not your kind of movie, maybe this isn't for you. But as it's about a con man, you keep wondering whether or not he can be trusted. He's fencing goods, he's stealing things. Will he steal from Steve Buscemi's character, Adolfo? Pretty much that's the crux of the movie. It's a kind of father-son relationship at times as well. The one thing that did annoy me is there is no police presence in this film. You get the feeling that stealing cars and breaking into houses and kidnapping a child in one scene, that at some point some police would appear. But unfortunately I don't think this film had the budget for it. In terms of cameos, director Jim Jarmusch and Carol Kane both appear as producers. Debbie Mazar has a brief prostitute cameo. Sam Rockwell plays an autistic adult who wears a football helmet and plays mentally challenged fairly well. Stanley Tucci plays a neighbour who claims he's married to Angelica. Aldolfo doesn't know. In the Soup is an enjoyable little film, and I like it. It signals to me that kind of independent feature filmmaking spirit, and I like the generation of filmmakers that it's come from. 1992 does feel a long time ago, but it did birth Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, and Alexander Rockwell. Find more obscure films with famous stars in them here at our YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.